So this table is going to show you how to determine what your income tax withholding is going to be according to your withholding allowances, and if your allowances increases, how much is coming back into your paycheck according to however you get paid. So the example I'm going to use, very simple, I'm going to use single with one child, and their wage will be $2,000 every 2 weeks, so $2,000 biweekly. Now the publication I'm under is publication 15. This is the updated year 2018. So when you go to the publication 15, scroll all the way down until you see this table called Wage Bracket Method Tables for Income Tax Withholding. So what we're under right now, it shows single person weekly payroll period. So however you get paid, whatever your wage is, according to how often you get paid, whether it's weekly or biweekly, you want to go to that specific table. So the example would be single $2,000 biweekly. So we're going to scroll down until we find it. So here's where it starts, single person biweekly payroll period. Now you see on the far left it said, and the wages are at least but less than. So find your amount. I'm scrolling all the way down till I find it. Now right here, you'll find two that actually look similar. You find one that say at least 1,980 but less than 2,000, or at least 2,000 but less than 2020. The one you actually want to go for is the one that's above. So at least 1,980 but less than 2,000. Now, right next to it are the allowances. It goes from 0 to 10. Now, I've seen plenty people that want to put 0 or 1 on their W-4 so they can get more coming back as far as a refund on their tax returns. But according to their circumstances, that's usually not the case. So it shows right here, if you're getting paid biweekly $2,000 every 2 weeks, it shows you that, let me find it. Wait, where'd it go? Right here. So it's showing you if you put 0 down, 250 is coming out federal. Now, this is all federal right here. We're not talking about Social Security. We're not talking about Medicare. We're not talking about your state. We're not talking about the unemployment or disability. This is the income tax. This is your federal. So if you put 0 down, you're letting them take 250 out just by one check. This is not each month. This is each check, 250. Now, if you put 1 on your allowances on your W-4, you're letting them take 215. But is that actually your scenario? Now, if you have 1 child, you can file head of household. So according to this bracket right here, to this table, single and head of household, these numbers are going to be the same. But when you file your actual W-4, you got to see what your actual circumstance is to determine what your allowance is going to be. Now, I did an example. This is the updated W-4, the 2018 version. And a lot of people are not aware that if they do have children, they can actually take in on the child tax credit. So this is the scenario right here where this person is unmarried, this person has 1 child, and it showed that this person been claiming 1 allowances, when in reality they can put 7 allowances because they can file for themselves. They can file for head of household. They have only 1 job, single, yeah, single and have only one job. Child tax credit. You can put 4 for each eligible child if your total income is the number that it shows right here. So if they're getting paid $2,000 every 2 weeks, then it's going to be less than 69,801 because she's not married. Now, as far as the other credits, it'll be 0. So if you add A and G right there, that's 7. Once we go back to this bracket on publication 15, let's go back to where it was. 250 right here. Now, if you go to 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's showing you the allowance is $80. $80 could be taken out of that paycheck if they put their actual number, their correct number down. Now, let's do calculation. If they change the 0 to the 7, what would that be? That will be 170 coming back into their pocket. And how did I determine that? Because 250 subtract $80 will be 170. Now, if they change that 1 to the 7, that will be 135 coming back. And how did I determine that? Same way. 215 subtract 80 will be 135. Now, as I said, this is biweekly, so this is each check. If you have 170 coming back into your pocket each check, that makes it $300.40 a month coming back if you change the 0 to the 7. If you change the 1 to the 7, that will be $270 a month coming back into your pocket. So whatever your scenario is, look for your numbers. This is how you can determine what is coming out on the federal. And if you can actually increase that allowance, I highly recommend that you do these correctly, because you can put more money coming back into your pocket each month, so you can either pay off debt or start investing. And you can still get it to the point to where you're not owing anything at the end of the year, and they're not giving you a big refund at the end of the year. Everything is where it needs to be. So that's the scenario right here. Now, let me show another scenario. If the person decides to have a home-based business, you go all the way down right here. Deductions, adjustment, and additional income worksheet. Now, if you're going here, this shows like on number 8, 4,150. You're able to take in one more allowances each 4,150. So let's just show it. Number 1 will be 0. If they not like this example right here, they're not itemizing, they didn't do no home mortgage interest, none of that. 0. Number 2, according to their filing status, their head of household. Let's put 18,000. 3, subtract line 2 from line 1. 0. 4. Now, when it comes to business income, this is all determined by you. You can increase, you can adjust and increase the number however you decide. But of course, the power to this is whatever you put down on this number, you got to have proper record keeping. But we're going to keep it very conservative, and we're just going to give it one more allowance. Because if the person has a business, they're going to spend at least 4,150. So that's what we're going to put on number 4 to keep it conservative. Number 5, you adding those together. You're adding 3 and 4, 4,150. Number 6 is say enter an estimate of your 2018 non-wage income if they have dividends or interest. We're going to keep it conservative. They're not receiving any of that yet. 0. So once you divide the amount on line 7 by 1,150 and enter the result here, you're going to get a 1. So all I want to show is the person getting the additional 1. You're putting it right here. Let me see. So whatever the number is, okay, I think I skipped one. 0, 7. Oh, okay, I did. Okay. So subtract line 6 from line 5. If 0, enter 0. It will be still 4,150. Now, divide the amount and it will be 1. So when you enter the number from the personal allowance worksheet, which was line H, you're going to bring that 7 down. It's going to give you 8 when you add both of those together. Let's go back to the bracket, to the list. Go back to where it was, right here. Now, if you put 8, you went from 80 to 61. So $61 will be taken out federal on your income tax. You went from $250 to 61. Now let's do the calculation real quick. 250 subtract 61. That's a whole 189 coming back into your pocket. Now, if you multiply that by 2, that will be a whole 378 a month. If you change that 1 to the 8, that means, let's do the calculation, 215 subtract 61. That's 154 coming back into your pocket. So since we pay bi-weekly, let's do the calculation real quick. That will give you 308 a month. So we didn't do no type of recruiting. We didn't do no type of sales. We just made proper adjustment to our W-4 because we were filling it out incorrectly according to the circumstance. So if you have one child, technically you should not be putting 0 or 1. You should be reading line by line and just going by whatever your actual circumstance is. So like we did on the example, it was 7. 7 without doing any type of sales, any type of recruiting. We just properly corrected what we had to do on this W-4. Now that we have a home-based business, we kept it conservative and gave you 1 additional allowance. Some people, if they turn their regular expenses to business deductions, that will lower their taxable income and lowering their liability. So you really want to make sure that the government is taking the correct amount because you do not want to give them interest-free loan. You're not gaining anything from this. So that's how you determine what will come back into your pocket according to this table.